Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to talk through a little bit the game Dubious. Normally we would be playing a few rounds, but this is a deduction game and it can get weird, so we're not going to do that. But before we get into any of that, if you want to see our full review, you can click the link in the video description. Talk about components, full gameplay, what the gameplay is, and all that stuff. But otherwise, let's get into this. Alright, so first thing we're going to talk about is setup. Now, to set up the game, you're going to give each player this awesome player screen. Okay? It's going to have some information on the inside. And the information is how to set up the game, what you're going to do during the phases, how you're going to score, but the main thing is the occupations and the secrets of one of the 3 decks of cards that you've chosen. There's Modern, there's Victorian, and there's Fantasy. And I've picked, I believe, I don't know what this is, the blue deck, which might be Victoria Modern, I don't know. But there's blue, yellow, and purple, and you're going to take the appropriate card, which has the icon that matches the deck, and you're going to kind of clip that to the player screen, and it'll go around your sheet like this, okay? It'll be like that the whole game, like that. But for the sake of this, I'm not going to do that. Just know there is a player board. I'm just going to keep this secret sheet out, and we'll go from there. Okay, so once you've done that, you've got your player screen, the appropriate board, then each player is going to be dealt 2 occupations and 2 secrets from the appropriate deck. There'll be a lock and there'll be a mask based on no matter what deck you're playing. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these occupations and you're going to write it on the occupation line. So say I'll do 7. I'm not going to write the name, I'll just write 7. So I know I'm Stableman, I'm not the Herald, okay? And then for my secret, I'm going to be possessed by a demon. So I will be 6, and I'm not going to be 9, all right? Then these cards can go away. We never need to look at them again. We know what we are. We know what we're not. So we know 2 of the 14 things from the occupations and the secrets, okay? Then what's going to happen is we're going to set up the questions. Now there are appearance questions, which are these mirror ones, and there are just general questions. There's also 3 questions that are specific to this deck of cards that we're playing that will get mixed in with these boxes and may come out in this game, may not, but it gives us some variety. And then we're ready to play, okay? So you're going to write your name, figure out what you are, and then you're ready to go. Now let's break down this paper. Course of the game is 5 questions, okay, which is what we're going to be answering on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, okay? Whatever the first question is, we're going to answer it based on the character that we are. So we are the Stableman who's possessed by a demon, all right? So whatever that question is, we want to point people to that, but we don't want everybody to get them. If everybody guesses your occupation, you get no points. If everybody guesses your secret, you get no points. If no one guesses, you get no points. If no one guesses, you get no points. So you want some people to guess one or both of the things, but not everyone and not no one. Okay? And then you also, other people are going to be answering their questions. You're going to guess what they are here. And if you guess them right, you'll put a check mark and you will get a point. Okay? Before we get into that, let's talk about how the game works. So once everybody's set up, we've got the player screen with the proper board. We picked our occupation and our secret. We've picked the 5 questions out, we're ready to go. So first thing that happens is someone's going to flip the question. And in this one it is, what are you wearing? So I'm going to look at that question. I'm going to know that I'm a Stableman who is possessed by a demon. So what would I be wearing? And I'm going to write that down. I'm not going to write it down here, but that is what I would do. On question number 1, I would write it down. Once everybody's done writing, then starting with whoever wants to, you'll read your question or your answer to the question, and then everyone's going to try to guess what you are, then everyone else will read, and I am going to try to guess what they are based on their answer to the question, what I know I'm not, and what I am, here to try to guess what they are, okay? Then we'll go on to question 2. So we'll flip this. This is a thematic question. See, it matches this. I can't read it. Why would you go on an adventure? Okay, so again, Stableman, possessed by a demon. Why would I go on an adventure? I'd write that on 2. Everybody else would do that. We'd all write our guesses down on each of these lines, hopefully getting closer to narrowing it down so we can get a final. Then we go to round question 3, do the same thing. Question 4, same thing. Well, another thematic one. And question 5, all right? Then once we've all done that, what I like to do is every player goes through their question 1 through question 5, rereads again, kind of give everybody some options to clean up, you know, some of the choices they have here to guess. They'll write their final decision in each of these boxes for all the other players. And then once everybody is done with that, we will have people guess. So people will guess for me. If they get me right, I would put a check mark. If they don't get me right, I leave it blank. If we're playing 3 players, I like to do this. So I know if I get all 3 of these check marks, I don't get any points. But if I get 1, I'm good. If I get 2, I'm good. Same with over there. And then anything that I guess right here, I would get a check mark. And I'm going to get 1 point per check mark. Put the total up here. Whoever has the most points after all that is said and done is the winner. So this is a storytelling deduction game of sorts, where you're trying to point people to the clues, but you don't want to be too obvious, but you don't want to be too vague. That's the gist. If you want to see what one looks like, here's one that Katie did. It's got who she was, what her answers were, how she was narrowing down what she thought people were, and then her final guesses and score. So yeah, that works. That's the game. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take too long as people aren't dilly-dallying. I'm writing down the answers here. But other than that, pretty simple, easy to teach, easy to play game. Once at least one person understands it, it's easy to teach. But outside of that, that's the game. So again, if you want to check out our full review, click the link in the video description. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And as always, keep gaming.